In a future where humanity has conquered aging, life comes with a cruel price. People stop growing older at 25, and from that moment, a glowing timer on their arm begins to count down. Everyone is given just one more year to live, and every second after that must be earned. Time itself has become currency, used to buy food, pay rent, and even gamble. This world is sharply divided. In the luxurious streets of New Greenwich, the rich can buy centuries and live for generations, where death is nothing more than a rumor. But in the grim neighborhoods of Dayton, the poor fight every single day for the last minutes of their lives. Will Salas wakes up in his small, dim room, the numbers on his arm pulsing like a reminder of the life slipping away. He gets ready for the day and steps into the kitchen, where his mother Rachel is already preparing to leave.
Happy 50th.
Today is her 50th birthday, though in this world, she still looks 25. Will wishes her a happy birthday and shows her the bottle of wine he managed to get from New Greenwich, a rare luxury in Dayton. She smiles, but when he asks how much time she has left, she admits she only has 3 days, most of it already owed to bills. She explains that she will not be home tonight, and that after paying the bills, she won't even have enough time left to ride the bus without his help.
I'm gonna give you 30 minutes so you can have decent lunch.
I love you.
Will promises to meet her at the bus stop tomorrow and stay careful. Stepping outside, Will is immediately confronted by the harsh reality of Dayton. A desperate young woman named Maya approaches, pleading for just a little time to pay her bills.
Here, take 5 minutes.
Will transfers 5 minutes to her without hesitation, watching relief wash over her face. From there, he meets his friend Burrell at a small coffee shop, where the rising cost of a single cup has them grumbling. The barista doesn't care. In Dayton, complaining changes nothing. While drinking their coffee, the two friends notice a group of men gambling away their lifespans. But Will has no interest in gambling or fighting. He knows how easily a man can lose everything. On their way to work, they pass the lifeless body of someone whose time finally ran out, a sight so common that even pity feels routine. The factory is loud and relentless, filled with workers racing against quotas that never stop rising. When Will collects his pay at the end of the day, he realizes he earned less than he expected. The accountant coldly explains that he didn't meet the new quota and therefore gets no extra time. Frustrated but powerless, Will leaves the factory and heads to a local bar to meet Burrell. The bar is alive with noise, and Burrell is already drunk. He explains that a man named Henry has been buying rounds for the entire place because he's carrying a full century on his clock. Will notices the man, clearly from New Greenwich, sitting far too comfortably for someone surrounded by people who could kill him for his time. Across the room, Will spots a gang watching Henry like predators. Minutemen, the enforcers who hunt for easy prey.
Minutemen, walk away, Bill.
Burrell urges Will to leave, knowing the Minutemen never play fair. Will hesitates, torn between self-preservation and a feeling he can't shake. He lingers near Henry, watching the gang close in, and makes a choice to stay. In Dayton, a single second can be the difference between life and death. And tonight, danger is closing in. After Burrell stumbles out of the bar, Will lingers in the shadows, watching the room with careful eyes. Across the floor, the leader of the Minutemen, a cold man named Fortis, speaks openly about the stranger's wealth of time. He wants the century on Henry's arm for himself and plans to take it in a fight. Henry looks uneasy and excuses himself to the restroom, trying to delay the inevitable. Before the rich man can return, Will makes his move. He knocks one of Fortis's men off balance and pulls Henry toward the back exit. The gang leader sees the escape, and his face hardens with anger, ordering his crew to chase them. The two fugitives sprint through dark alleys until Will finds an abandoned building where they can hide for the night. Safe for the moment, he turns to Henry and demands to know why someone with so much time would risk walking into a place like Dayton. Henry doesn't give much of an answer. He hands Will a drink, and they settle in for the night. When Henry asks Will's age, the young man says 28, while Henry calmly reveals that he's lived 105 years. Will warns him to stay out of Dayton if he wants to make it to 106, but Henry shakes his head. He's ready to die. He explains that living forever has its price, and immortality for a few requires death for many. Taxes rise, prices climb, and the poor are left to run out of time so that the rich can keep hoarding centuries. Will listens as Henry shares a belief that there is more than enough time in the world for everyone to live a full life, if only it were shared. When Henry asks what Will would do with such wealth, Will admits he'd stop checking his arm and never waste a single second. Eventually, the young man drifts to sleep, unaware that Henry has already made up his mind. At dawn, Henry wakes quietly and transfers his century to Will, leaving himself with just 5 minutes. When Will opens his eyes, the glowing digits on his arm stun him. 100 years now tick down where only hours had been before. He notices a message on the window. "Don't waste my time." Panicked, Will rushes outside and sees Henry sitting on the edge of a bridge, waiting for his last moments to slip away. Will sprints toward him, but it's too late. Henry's clock hits 0, and he falls silently into the water below. Shaken, Will leaves the scene, unaware that a nearby camera has captured everything. He heads to Burrell's home, where his friend's wife, Greta, answers the door with their baby in her arms. Burrell steps outside, and Will silently shows him the century glowing on his arm. Shock spreads across his friend's face as Will explains how Henry gave it to him. Burrell warns that carrying that much time through Dayton is dangerous, but Will has already decided on his next move. He asks how long they've been friends. When Burrell answers 10 years, Will presses his arm against his friend's and transfers an entire decade, thanking him for always being there.